everyone. Welcome. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm trying a new thing today with mic since I've had so many mic problems. But today we're going to be making a spirit or working candle. And I'm excited because I really need a new one. So a spirit or working candle is a candle that you keep on your altar. It usually represents fire on your altar if you use specifically. That way it's a little bit separate from your sorry, I'm shaking the camera. From your spell candles or other candles that you may be burning. But it's always there if you need a pinch. It's anytime you're doing any type of working, casting circle or sacred space, or just in a general candle. There is a few different ways to do it, and I'm going to keep shaking the camera because it's another of my screen turning off day. So yay! Well, that won't be. But this is the way I do it. So we're just gonna get started here. I already have a candle lit. So I'm gonna light my incense. This is frankincense incense. It's the Japanese, I can't remember the brand at the moment. I don't have the box out here. But it's a Japanese company that I really love. All their scents are just fabulous and really smell thing. So what you need, so you can definitely use a mold and use like a stiffer wax like paraffin, but I'm going to be using soy wax. So I need a container. Since all my altar implements are stone, this is the container. It's actually a little stone shot glass that I've been using. It's already been cleaned. I used to use this little soap thing, which was really great, actually, for all intents and purposes. Sorry. The problem being I'd have to put 2 wicks in it, and there'd be a lot of wax left over, so I'd be scraping out that wax and reusing it. I do recommend reusing wax if you use other candles and you don't use all the wax down. I collect it all. And this is the wax. I measured it out, so it should be enough, but I have stuff going. And there's some bits in there, obviously some beeswax, soy wax, some wax because I've already spilled this candle because it's that kind of day. I do a quick blessing with the candle. So let me get this melting. There's a couple different ways you can melt it. I am going to be using the microwave for this just because it's so small. If you're making a larger candle or you're using a lot of different bits of wax, especially if you're using paraffin, don't put paraffin in the microwave, it could catch fire. You might want to use a melter. Now, you can have a double boiler. I do have one of those. I also have this fancy, which I can't find it right now. I was going to use it for this, but I can't find it. We're a little bit in a disarray since my daughter's moving. And I need to ask her where she put it. But I have this big, like, cauldron, like, candle as you put all the wax in the top and it melts through the bottom, and you can put it in, you can put different things under there, like, molds or vessels or whatever you want to put the wax in, and it's great. So I'm just going to start melting this. So if you're doing the microwave method, which is what I'm doing now, and only because I'm using beeswax and soy wax and I know what it is, I know what my little remnants are. Again, if you're using any paraffin or you suspect any of the remnants you have paraffin, do not put them in the microwave. Do not. 30 seconds at a time and check it. It's like melting chocolate. Some other tools you might want, I have some old chopsticks that double as wick holders and wax stirrers, especially if you're putting colors and stuff in. I'm not going to do that for this, but you certainly can. The other things I'm going to be putting in here, and that's actually what this is too, little wick holder, but I do have some herbs. So I've left my book that tells me what everything is. See if I can remember. So I use a set of different attributions and pick the herbs from those. So I know I have rue in here, lemongrass, rose, frankincense, clove, meadowsweet, bay, and I believe that's it. If you are interested in this one, then I'll do a little handout and post a link to it here, and put it on my website. This is my mortar and pestle for strictly magical workings. I don't ever put anything in here I'm going to eat or ingest. I keep two separate ones for that. If you're using stone, like I am, if you use some industrial scrubbers, you could possibly mix the two. I still wouldn't recommend it. Let's see if I can show you here, since I'm in my kitchen. If you can see it right there, hiding behind the candle thing, that's what I use for my edible. And I use that one a lot for food in general. It's great for making all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to pulverize this a bit, mix together. Oh, one of my tea tins just fell. So there you go. I have those herbs ready to go, and they smell wonderful. Check my wax. And we're starting to get melty in there. Let's keep going. So, you obviously need a wick. I have a pre-treated waxed wick. So this wick has already been waxed, which means it will stand up pretty well, and I don't need to hold it up. I will probably need to keep it from tipping over in the wax, which is another reason why I have this, just to kind of center it in there. It doesn't need to be perfect. The more center you can have, you can get little discs to either put on these or to help stand them up. I don't like using those discs in vessels like this. They're hard to get out later. You can use like a braided wick like this. I would suggest either dipping it in wax as you go to make it stand up like this one will, and as well as using something to hold it up. And this one you'll need to tie to something to keep it straight, because you don't want it to get all wrinkly in there. Let's see, kind of judging where it's going to be. Let that go. Okay. So, a few other things I have water and salt for blessings. I have some oils. For something this small, you should probably use too many oils. I'm horrible. But I have pine needle, lemongrass, clove, and patchouli. And I choose, I choose these based on attributes. Some of those include physical energy, magical energy, divination, psychic awareness, spirituality, protection, purification. Just all those attributes that I think of when using this candle. This is the candle that I'm going to use to bless things, unless I'm doing a specific spell or need a specific type. The other thing I have here is I have two main pendulums that I use. This one I actually got because I thought I lost my other one. I really love the metal ones. The other is a metal one. It just has a little hematite crystal at the top, and it's silver. This one is really long. That one mainly stays on my altar, but I thought I lost him, and I was devastated. And it's actually getting harder and harder to find these metal ones. I'm finding, at least in the shape that I like, the simple teardrop, because people really like the crystal ones, and the crystal ones are fine. Ooh, we're starting to get all melty. Yeah, the crystal ones are just fine. For the most part, and I do have one or two of those hanging around. Nothing too spectacular. I don't know. They don't seem to be as precise, if that makes sense. It's not exactly the right word I'm looking for, but they they don't work as well for me. I have ones made out of beads that I've made myself. Some crystal ones that I've gotten here and there, but they don't work the same for what I like. And this is just to kind of let me know that the universe says I'm doing this right, that I don't need to start over. It's always good to have those kind of things when you're doing spell work. We're not, Gur is protecting us. Leave. Oh, we're getting good melted layer. I might have to melt some more. Let's see where we get. Because you'll get the idea. Do one more there. It's a good idea to have, when you're doing any kind of spell working, affirmations I think are always good to let you know that you're working on you're going the right way, because if a spell doesn't work, then you don't usually know for a while whether or not a spell is working, and why won't this stay on? Oh. So you want to make sure that you have that kind of backing, I guess. So you here, I have my little, ow, trying not to hit myself on the door. So we can see here it's pretty melted now. Just some of the beeswax is taking a bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my well-used stir stick, and again, keeping candle remnants for when you buy candles, because we all do. Even just the little pieces, it adds up. And really, making your own candles is so simple and really easy to do. This doesn't have a specific intention, because it is a general working candle. Something that you've made, that you've had in your article. The only thing that it has is the things that the candle represents. You can definitely use some herbs and oils that are particular to your deities, if you choose. I have a whole screen on that. Telling you this is just like chocolate. Melt a little bit of time, stir, melt, stir. Let that go for a little bit longer, we should be good to go. So, I'm going to reach over me. First, I'm just going to dust some of these herbs off here right in the bottom. So the other thing to know is you don't want to put the herbs or oils in. And I just realized I didn't check these to make sure they all had droppers. Most of the Art Naturals do. Most of them, but I take them out sometimes, especially when I'm mixing and I need something more precise, like from a pipette. So far, so good. Clove bud, don't let me down. Clove bud's one's gonna, clove bud's gonna let me down. I need to get a pipette. So I apologize why I run away really quick. I have no idea if you could hear that. A pipette is just this. Squeeze it in. You can get a bunch in bulk. Mine, of course, are on the top of my herb cabinet, way in the back, so I had to dig a bit. Okay. So, no oils, no herbs in the melting wax. You want to melt it without that. Oh, yeah. And of course, because everything I do has it, there's probably some pug hairs in here. So let me hit the thing again because it doesn't want to stay on. I'm going to do another video tonight on symbolism in the Spellcaster's Tarot, and I swear to God, the doggos go into that, and this camera will probably stay on. So here we go. Hammer wax. Good and melted, and I'm looking at that and I'm thinking it might not be enough, so I may have to melt some more, but that's okay. So I put a little bit of herbs in there. I have my salt. So we're going to start. We'll pour in a little bit of wax, and you probably should put something down to protect your working space, like newspaper or something, but I'm dumb. So put a little bit of wax in. We're going to sprinkle some of the herbs in here. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm definitely going to need to put some more in there, but that's okay. That's okay. Now I know how much that is. My measuring skills suck. Oh my gosh, and this is my big blocks of soy wax here. I would suggest for knives and things to cut that you do use a separate set of knives. That can kind of expensive. You know, go to a thrift store or a Goodwill or something like that to get more of what you need. Because you can find knives and things like that that you can use for this, so you don't ruin the ones you cook with. Sure, my hands are getting a little gooey. I'm going to throw that in there. We can start. So it takes about 20, I would say about 24 hours to cure, depending on the size. This one will definitely take about that long. But we'll get it. It's already starting to go in there. Take some water. Some of my blessing going here, because I'm going to have to stick that wick in. A little bit of salt. Oh, and I hit the camera. Woo! And we're going to place the wick. So the bottom is already starting to solidify. So I'm going to get my oil set up here. So if I were more prepared, everything would be set up and ready to go, like a beautiful Food Network kitchen. I don't have that. I have a small apartment kitchen. This is actually a fairly large kitchen in comparison to other ones I have had in the past. Those going. This is actually pretty large and nice, which I like. Don't always get the choice though when you have to live in apartments. So I only need, this is the clove oil. Put a couple drops in there. So one of the things I like about that big melter I have is that you can turn off the heat, stir in everything you want. You don't want to put the herbs in the top. You want to put those in the mold or the container that you're using. But stir it in, it goes through the little thing or straight down the hole and into the mold and kind of mixes it as you go. This I'm going to have to kind of mix some in when it comes out of my little cup here in a minute. So you can see this one, because it's so small, it's already started to solidify. And we're going to go ahead and just sprinkle some more herbs in there on both sides. And I've already asked quite a few things about the mixes I'm using, but generally what you do when you're asking, so this is mine, and this guy's pretty responsive. He's already saying, yes, yes. Okay, you can stop now. Stop showing off. Thank you. So there's a little bit more random. Obviously, Pentacles you program, which is a whole nother topic. And I have to do a lot of working with, and I like to feed mine. I have some anointing oil that I feed mine and some waters that I've made. So there's definitely different, okay, and I'm sure some of you who are better at noticing this have noticed I put it in for a little bit longer. I've done this quite a few times, so I know a little bit how to cheat with the wax that I'm using. And again, I'm doing this because this is soy wax. And I have a little beeswax in the first part of the batch. This one's going to be a bit pinky purple. Because what I put in there, that's fine. Ooh, come on. Go scrape this off. But honestly, when you're first starting out, don't hurry it. Really, 30 seconds or less at a time. Stir, 30 seconds, stir, 30 seconds, stir. And only soy or beeswax. Do not put paraffin in your microwave. Don't need a fire. If you're using paraffin, or even, I think you can get a wax melter. You can find those in hobby stores. Or it's pretty easy to get these double boilers like I have over here. Ooh, that clove oil is strong. Strong clove oil. So, these are just some cheap wooden chopsticks. Chopsticks are great, especially the cheap wooden ones, for all kinds of things. I really want to buy a set of cooking chopsticks. So, I used to have a set, and they got destroyed, and I was very sad. But they're really extra long and made to be used with a wok and everything. I don't have a wok. But I love them for cooking and turning things over really quickly. They're easy to clean. They don't get rusty like metal implements do. Yeah. So, I don't want to add any more oil yet. You can see some of those herbs have sunk in there a bit. Oh yeah. So, go. It's super hot. If I were using some of my metal stuff, I might have mitts on. But years of cooking. So let's put some lemongrass and pine and patchouli. Don't go overboard on the patchouli. You know, I was told for years growing up, this had to do a lot with where I was growing up, but I used to be told patchouli is horrible. Patchouli smells awful. You can tell when somebody's just bathing in patchouli. Well, I guess that's kind of true. But I found it used in moderation, just like most things. It actually does really well. So, this is almost complete here. I'm just putting in some of the last of my herbs. Now, I've prayed over these herbs. I've prayed and blessed all of the objects. And I just kind of, I'll do like a little final blessing. There we go. Yay! Let's see if I can get the rest, as much of this in there as I can. Don't put your finger next to the candle, Michelle. Okay. There we go. So there we have it. We have a little spirit candle. It'll start to cure here. We'll just leave it be. When it gets, when it solidifies. So what might happen is a well might come and it might dip in. At that point, I'll come in and melt some more wax and kind of finish it off. But that's really all that you need to do. And then you have a spirit candle or a working candle for your altar. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like, let me know in the comments if you'd like a write-up on this. And I will post a link to it. Obviously the more comments I get and everything on that, then I'll hopefully do more quicker, if that makes sense. So let me know. I'm going to tell you, all of the smells is really, really good. So, but thank you so much, and I really hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope this helps you in your practice. So thank you, and have a great night.